Hey guys, what's going on? Jab here, and in today's video, we are going to be doing some shorter-term technical analysis on Bitcoin because, as you guys know, a couple of days ago, Bitcoin breached below the all-important support level of $10,500. And after it's done that, there has been rampant discussion about where exactly Bitcoin is heading, and people have been speculating that it could be pulling all the way back down to $4,000. I don't think it's going to go exactly that low, but I would like for us to have at least some grasp of exactly where Bitcoin is going. Guys, I think you're going to get a lot of great value out of today's video. If you do, consider hitting that like button, and if you haven't already, hit the subscribe button because it's come to my attention that around 40% of the people that watch these videos are not actually subscribed. So if you'd like to help out the channel, we're trying to hit 75k subs by the end of the year. We would be very appreciative if you did hit that sub button. Anyway, guys, without much further ado, let's go ahead and dive right on into it. There is one very important level of support that everyone in cryptocurrency is talking about right now, and that would, of course, be none other than the long-term downtrending level of resistance that has been in effect for the last 3 years. As you can see, this trend line has been the level of resistance that Bitcoin has been respecting for the entirety of the time between the all-time high and now. And as we can see, a few weeks ago, Bitcoin broke bullish above it, and that was extremely bullish. That was one of the big warning signs that we were going into a bull market. And guys, even though we have broken below $10,500 and it has now turned back into resistance, we need to realize that this downtrending level of resistance is even stronger than 10.5 and is currently supporting the market. Bitcoin is also seeing convergence of support sitting at around $10,000, as we can see right here. So what we effectively have, a flat level of support at $10,000, a declining level of support on that trend line, and also we're still somewhat in the zone of support around 10.5, which means that from all of that, we can deduce that there is a zone of support sitting right around here. And it's important that we understand that this zone of support is in play because a lot of people are looking at 10.5 and thinking, oh, Bitcoin's below $10,500, so we're just going to crash through the floor, right? But that just doesn't actually hold up to technical scrutiny because if we look at what we just talked about, that zone of support we just drew is very viable. And we also need to keep in mind that the majority of our VPVR support is actually below $10,000. So yes, we did break $10,500. Yes, that is technically a bearish factor on the Bitcoin technicals, but we also need to understand we have built a lot of support beneath us. Where we are right now, we are sitting on the bedrock of this market. We may be trying to get below $10,000, but guys, there is a lot of support down here. All of this to say that I don't think anything that we're about to see is going to be some kind of cataclysmic crash down to like 4K or anything. I want to make sure you guys aren't getting a little bit too bearish because whenever Bitcoin starts a pullback like this, everybody thinks it's time to run for the hills and freak out. But generally speaking, when Bitcoin starts a correction, it's not, you know, the sky's not going to start falling. The market isn't going to look like the movie 2012. You know, the continents aren't going to be in upheaval. It's generally a buying opportunity, and we've seen that replay itself time and time and time and time and time and time again, and every single time that happens, you'd think people would learn. You'd think people would realize now's a good time to be investing. You'd think people wouldn't get freaked out, but of course, us humans are very bad at learning. Now, to be clear, I'm not saying right now is the time to buy. We don't know if we're at the bottom yet, but we do know that Bitcoin has a stupendous amount of support beneath it, and we need to keep that in mind. So with that said, let's talk price targets. Where might Bitcoin be going with this? Because I'm not totally convinced that the pullback is over, even though we are sitting on strong support. One thing that is absolutely undeniable is that we are just above a very important Bitcoin CME futures gap that people have been discussing for quite some time. As you guys can see, there is a CME futures gap right in between about $9,700 and $9,900 that we put into effect a couple of weeks ago. And yes, even though I don't think CME futures gaps have to be filled like some people would profess, a lot of times they do get filled. And it would actually make sense if, since we're so close to this, that this gap does get filled. So am I saying Bitcoin's going to go below $9,700? Yes, I'm saying that that's definitely in the realm of possibility, and I'd say it's pretty likely also. I'm confident on the support that we have right now, but I'm also not as confident on the Bitcoin bullishness as I was 3 weeks ago because Bitcoin got just above 11K and traded sideways for 3 weeks. Where was the bullish exuberance? When we pulled back, 17%, we kind of learned just how bullish the market was. Not very right now, at least in the short term. Long term, we're looking great. Short term, we might be a little overextended. So to start with, we can say that our price target's probably going to be below $9,700. Going back to our normal chart, we can also see that the VPVR maximum for the last year or so is sitting around $9,300, and that makes sense because that's almost the exact midline of this massive consolidation pattern we saw here, and it is a flat level of support that Bitcoin saw tests on over and over and over and over again back there. So $9,300 makes a lot of sense as a bottom. Remember, we have increasing volume in the red direction, and the RSI is starting to get into oversold territory, and what we may end up seeing here is because RSI is already sitting at 30, we may see a Bitcoin daily chart bounce around the levels that we're currently at of $10,000, reset that RSI up to maybe the 35, 40, 45, 50 range, see another correction down to $9,300, fill the CME futures gap, and bounce on some of our strongest support down there. By that point, the Fear and Greed Index, which we discussed in yesterday's video, would likely have reset, and we would likely be ready to head to the upside, and that would be good investment and buying opportunity for us here in Bitcoin. From there, if we pull back to those levels, we would more than likely see a bullish cross at some point on the daily chart MACD, and that could be our sign that a new uptrend is forming. The timeline on all this would likely be between 1 and 2 weeks, but of course, this is but one scenario, a chart scenario. Thanks for watching. No, okay, that wasn't funny, and my hair's messed up. I'm tired. Anyway, guys, that's kind of what I'm expecting for Bitcoin. That would be about a $1,000 correction from where we are right now. But again, you need to understand, there are multiple scenarios here, and each one of them is going to have a weighted probability on it. I think the probability of Bitcoin pulling back to like $9,300, I'm going to go with my gut on this one, even though my head is telling me different. But my gut is telling me I think we're going to pull back to around that level, and we're not going to stop where we are right now. My gut is kind of telling me that we're having a bit of a bear flag right now because we're about halfway in between where we started this pullback at $9,300, so it would make sense that we'd flag out here in the middle because that's how flags work. My head is telling me that Bitcoin is going to bounce here, but my head, I've noticed, is sometimes a little bit more bullish than it should be, so I'm going to go with a prediction with about 40 to 50% certainty that we pull back to $9,300. That is my price target. That is my prediction. We shall see if it comes to pass. I would love to hear your opinions on that in the comment section down below. Anyway, guys, we've been making shorter videos lately, so if they're a little bit more bite-sized and more of you guys are more interested in watching them, I hope you guys are enjoying this kind of content. It makes it a lot easier on us because we have a ton of product development going on behind the scenes that you guys are going to start getting to see over the next several months and incoming launches. But guys, I really do, before I go, want to thank you guys. We have seen amazing growth here at the channel, and that is so much thanks to you guys. None of this would be possible without you watching this. I'm talking to you right now. You know who you are. Thank you. Seriously. Guys, some amazing things are happening, and it's going to be a great opportunity for us to give back, and I'm so pleased with that. Guys, it's going to be a great year, 2021. 2020 has been hard economically, health-wise, financially, relationally. It's been a difficult year. But let me just give you some motivation in saying that I think 2021 is going to be the light at the end of the tunnel, and I promise you, it's not a train light. It is the sun, and it's going to be amazing. So look forward to that, guys. Let's get pumped up. I'm really excited about what's going to be coming next year, and I cannot wait to go on that journey with you guys. The last 3 years have been insane. Here's to another 30, but before I go, I do just first want to thank each and every single last one of you for watching, as always, and I will see you guys in the next video. Peace.